Hey guys, we are at the fourth annual Cannabis Film Festival, and I am so very excited to be joined by Miss Amy and Miss Colleen, and they are here from Citiva, which is Brooklyn, New York's first medical dispensary, and it is across the street from the Barclays Center. How are you ladies doing today?
Great. Thank you. Thanks so much for having us.
You, Colleen.
Hi, Sarita. Thank you for having us.
So, ladies, can you tell me why was it important for you guys to be a part of the Cannabis Film Festival?
Well, first and foremost, it's in Brooklyn, and we're in Brooklyn. We're the first dispensary to open up in Brooklyn, so how could you not be here?
Very good. And what role does content actually play a part in telling the story of Sativia?
I actually think it's actually a pretty important part. It's telling the story of cannabis since trying to fight through prohibition. I mean, that's been trying to get the message out about cannabis and what it really is and what it really does and what it isn't. I mean, that's been part of the movement going on for decades. So to actually see all these wonderful filmmakers making these fantastic films that are funny and humorous and sad, anything that you want to see is here. But it's also important. It's about our industry, and it's about what people have done or fought through in order to bring this product into the market and out of the shadows, and also just to have some fun with it.
Absolutely. Colleen, with picking up with what Amy said, coming out of the shadows, what does that mean for you? We were talking a little bit before the camera started rolling. Colleen said, you don't know my story. And I don't know if Colleen's going to tell us her story. But, Colleen, can you tell us a little bit about what brought you into this industry?
Well, I think, so my title is Community Development and Education. And that is what is most important to me. So part of my story is that I've been able to use my skills throughout my career to come to this moment, which I'm very excited about, because to me, the biggest problem with the cannabis industry or the movement is that it's been federally prohibited to do anything or talk about it or learn how to use it. So when people were experimenting in their younger years, they're like hiding behind the bleachers, and no one educated us about how cannabis works with our bodies. And it's so important that we know how it medically works in the human body so that people can use the amount that will optimize their health or their wellness or their state of being, whatever it is they're trying to achieve. So I feel like the messaging has never been correct in the industry and in society in general, and that's caused a lot of problems in our communities. And I think it's important now that things are becoming legal and there are people who really care about the history and have reverence for the plant, that they can use their skills to come out in the industry in a legal framework and make sure that everyone who honors that has a part of it.
And how does Sativia plan to help shape this conversation and build this community as cannabis legalization builds and takes shape here in Brooklyn?
Well, I think actually someone like Colleen is a great example of what we're doing for that. I mean, the reason we were lucky enough to get Colleen onto the team that we had is because when her knowledge in the space is pretty much unparalleled, her passion for education about it is wonderful. You sit down with her and you instantly want to know more. Her enthusiasm, her passion for it comes out right away. So that makes it wonderful. So we were happy to have her on our team. But every time I've spoken to anyone since I first started working in this industry several years ago, you realize how needed the education is. You get just information given back to you that often is wrong. Sometimes just erroneous. Maybe it's just people who are interested and they're looking for more information, education, and it's just not out there. And that comes from the user to the physician to my mom and dad. Everybody has a little bit of information, but not enough to keep them educated in the space, and certainly not enough to elevate the conversation to where we want it. So we're doing our part with people like Colleen being key parts of our program and our staff, our medical director, who I think you've met, Dr. Jack Angelo, he was here earlier today, to our pharmacists on staff. We spend more time focusing on our own internal education and how we'll put that message out than anything else.
Colleen, how do you feel, or what advice would you give to other community leaders in how they can help to inform and educate people on cannabis usage, whether that's in New York or elsewhere? What advice would you give them?
My email address is colleen.hughes@citiva.com, Citiva That's how, if people want to get involved, they need to give us a call, and you find me on Facebook. Like, we're starting, we just got here. We just opened the doors. We can't, like, we're held back, not held back, but we have to work within a regulation framework. And there's certain things we can do and can't do. We can't put our name on our t-shirts. There's a level of censorship that comes along with operating in this space that we're hoping with the education that's going to change over time. But right now we have to operate with these boundaries and things that are holding us from really showing our true potential. So we have restrictions. That said, moving forward, we know that the landscape is changing. We know Cuomo's coming out in the next 90 days with some announcements on like what adult use is going to look like. And we can't speculate on what role we're going to play or what role anyone can play until we see the language of the law. So once that happens and things are open, then we get to really unleash ourselves into the market and show them what we're all about. But I encourage everyone who's interested in learning about cannabis, talking to us, and want to work in the Brooklyn community specifically, because this is our home now. We want to know our neighbors. We want to play with everybody. I'm like asking everybody, like, hey, are you doing video? Can you come help us? We want to shoot some stuff. Like, we want to do this. We want to do fun things, and we want to be involved with everybody. We want to be friends. We want to get to know everyone and just connect. Like, that's what we do. So, and we're open 7 days a week, and you can come and speak to a pharmacist. Even if you don't have a medical marijuana card, you can come in, you can ask questions, and they'll educate you.
Oh my gosh, guys, thank you so much. Thank you for being a part of pushing this movement forward. Thank you for being amazing women in this space. Oh my gosh. And maybe before we go, I would like each of you to give some advice to other women who are interested in being in this space, or who might still be behind that cannabis door, that closet.
Who are like me in the beginning. I can't say it enough. Don't be afraid of this industry. Don't be afraid that you don't know very much. Most people don't know very much about this industry. It's a new industry. We're all learning, and we learn every day. I took the same skill sets I had from a completely different industry and was able to apply them. You just have to be consistent. You need to be smart. You need to be intelligent, so to speak, in that you want to do your due diligence in the industry and you want to self-educate yourself. But just don't be afraid of it. If you're good in any other industry, I would bet you're probably going to be great in this industry. You just need to go for it and put yourself out there. And don't be afraid of it. It's not a men's industry. Of course, nothing really is a men's industry if you really get down to it. Can I put that out there?
What advice would I have? So I would say you need to know who you are first, and then you can find the space in the space. You just have to know what it is you're good at, know what your strengths and weaknesses are, and find a marketable skill that you're good at and that you love. That's the most important thing. Like, you have to love what it is that you're doing, and then you're just naturally going to be good at it. And it's hard for us to find that outlet of what it is. Like, you just have to keep reinventing yourself and finding what it is that is your calling. And sometimes for some of us, it takes a really long time to get there, but when you find it, and for some people, that's the cannabis space. You just have to have reverence for what we're doing.
Namaste.